Just when we thought life as we knew it had changed so drastically due to a viral pandemic, we were reminded that not much has changed at all. At the hands of white supremacists, the brutal death of Houston's native George Floyd and so many other Black American men and women continues to write the history of white America. As of July 4th, 2020, it is not enough to be non-racist and watch in silence. Concrete and Blossom Podcast stands in solidarity with the Black community and hereby declares Black Lives Matter.
Don the Daw delivers.
Welcome, world. This is the exclusive premiere of Concrete and Blossom Podcast. Here, we create change through conversation by blossoming through concrete discussion. I am your creator and host, Don the Daw, and I'll be casting episodes to you each and every week, planting seeds that will help move our culture forward and towards healthy growth. This month, we're in the series Black Business. In this episode, we're planning to see Do It Anyway. I am so excited for this episode because in the midst of everything going on, time seems to be on our side in a lot of cases. We're reminded that we must persevere. We cannot stop. We must do it anyway. Whatever your it is, saving that money, starting that business, spending that intentional time, standing up for justice and equality, do it anyway. Let's get into why I decided to do it anyway and start Concrete and Blossom Podcast. I'm sure many of my listeners share my struggle of being able to identify weaknesses within ourselves. Sometimes we identify actually changing and strengthening these areas to not even. Concrete and Blossom allows me to do both. I've identified that one of my greatest weaknesses is my delivery. One of my best friends said to me years ago back in college when we lived together, she said, "Dawn, it's not always the intent. Sometimes it's the effect." This quote resonated so heavily when it came to the power of my words. It's one of my top 3 quotes to live by now. So I thought to myself, let me create a safe space where I finally feel comfortable speaking, especially on topics that some of my raw thoughts and comments are uncomfortable for others. Now I can practice that craft of delivery so that my heart's message is received for its intent without being overpowered by its effects. With a little podcasting grace, I can make a positive impact, deliver my message with tact, and provide entertainment so that way it's not as uncomfortable. In essence, Concrete and Blossom Podcast is a platform for minorities to help drive a sustainable change in our cultural narrative by collaborating voices of color. The content for Concrete and Blossom is meant to be thought-provoking and business boasting. One of my personal goals in 2020, and forever moving forward for that matter, is to more intentionally support Black communities, Black businesses, health, education, and awareness. Here, I'll be sharing that safe space for you to tune in and join me on that journey. What you'll hear is a mixture of monologue and dialogue on mental health, business, relationships, the list goes on. We will have some really dope guests, both men and women, to give us an extensive perspective into modern-day Black life. I can't wait until the garden gatherings go live. These are going to be those X-rated episodes that are roundtable and raw panel. Not to worry, we'll be sure you know that their 21 and up audience is required. So listen, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to our very first Concrete and Blossom podcast hosting. I am your creator and host, Don the Daw, and I did it anyway. Please subscribe and listen close to episodes 2 through 4, which are now posted. Starting next week, I'll be posting once a week to complete us to episode 7 by the end of July. You don't want to check out early on any of those episodes or miss our next series, Music is Medicine, starting in August. Some of our guest hosts are already planting some fire seeds in our garden, and I can't wait to inspire and motivate you listeners each and every episode.
Don the Daw delivers.